ladies and gentlemen, and we are at the cusp of Game 5 of Detonation FocusMe versus Burning Core. It was looking like it would be a 3-1 at DFM. They had the early lead, they had the Mordekaiser behind, they had 2 kills on this genius counterpick of Cogmore. And then they threw it all away, and Burning Core came back strong in the mid to late game. Now it's all to play for. Vinny, what do you make of it, man?
This is insane. There should have been no way from that start that Burning Core would be able to find that way into the game without a massive mistake from DFM, and they got it. They got it in the bot lane. Evie's over-aggressive teleport.
Bot lane's overstay.
Unicorn overstaying. It was...
But
credit to Burning Core. As soon as they got their way back into the game, they took it and they kept with it. Now they were also helped along by Seros overreaching in the mid lane again, and then cowering entirely at the back end of it. You can see the spikes. You can see where the mistakes go wrong time and time again.
And it happened in their other game that DFM lost, right? Where they had these moments and then let it go away from them a couple times. And interesting to see that's still something of an issue here for DFM that's haunting them from previous weeks. Either way, Burning Core have clawed their way back to this final game. I believe DFM will be on the blue side for this game, but I am not entirely sure. And it has been blue side victories all day so far. I don't know whether that's making more of an impact, but you can see the Caitlyn came in and did a lot of work in that game, by far the most damage within the game. Even if, talking to you and talking to Nymera afterwards, weren't entirely impressed by Yuhi's positioning.
No, and Yuhi's early game was kind of shaky. I mean, they almost lost the first tower to the Ashe Tahm Kench with no jungle intervention. That should not be happening to start with. And when it looked like DFM had a chance to get back in, it was because Yuhi was out of position and getting caught. He was getting hit by Nidalee spears at long range. He was getting caught out by Abyssal Voyages and getting saved on the clutch by Proud's Black Shields. So, a lot to be desired. And it, again, goes back to what I was saying at the end of, at the start of Game 3. I want Detonation FocusMe to focus on Yuhi and just attack him. Give Yutapon the winning matchup and play through bot.
Okay. Well, they'll be back on the blue side as I called out. Now we're going to see what the bans are. It was a massive focus towards Seros from Burning Core in the last game, and they still pulled out the Cogmore, which looked mostly pretty good. And I wonder whether DFM think about a similar kind of game plan, considering actually the early game did go pretty well. It was just those mid-game debacles, there's no other way of putting it, that went horribly wrong, or whether they do look to try and do what you were suggesting, Vinny, and look to focus again around that bot lane.
And now Burning Core can't triple ban Seros again without giving over that Caitlyn, and they have been scared of that Caitlyn so much. I don't know if I agree with the set ban from DFM. There's the Caitlyn, because
it's
Burning Core has also wanted...
plays it super well in mid lane, once plays it really well in jungle, and Proud is a fantastic set support. So it's very high...
True, but my reasoning is you leave the set open and then you leave Burning Core with the option. You ban Caitlyn and we get set, or you ban set and we get Caitlyn. And that is quite... And they're going with the Renekton
for
DFM as the
basically
first
calling
pick.
out they don't think Burning Core will want the volley bear. And I wonder whether, if it's not locked in this first round, that DFM just go run it right back and pick up that volley bear. But the Graves, again, once put in a monumental amount of work in the last game on that towards the end game. See his damage graph was second only really to his AD carry on that pick last time out. So feeling pretty confident on that one. See what else they lock in alongside it. I wonder whether they do look to try and counter this Renekton here, or whether they might save it a little later. They will go towards the Bard instead.
Yeah, taking the Bard here makes sense. You want to see the if you can, the jungle pick DFM responds with before you lock in that top laner. Because if you end up picking one that's just easily, you just get easily ganked again and again by, say, a Nidalee or a Elise is the one I was looking for. But you see the Nidalee lock in, they're happy with that jungle matchup. It's fun, and that makes sense. Steel, when he's had it, has been getting the upper hand over the Graves.
At least in the early games, I kind of agree with you.
Do we see the Ashe from DFM? No, he's coming back to the center.
And
that's not what I wanted.
It is a little, but it's suggesting they're going to try and play again towards the top side. And if you've got the Nidalee going to be kind of top side focused, we know that's how Nidalee likes to play. Senna, relatively survivable. The game one was pretty good from Utapon on that champion. Looks like Burning Core will respond with the Ashe, though, and Ashe Bard has been a lane that Burning Core have played multiple times over the course of this split and this series.
Yeah, you're just giving Burning Core absolute pure comfort. That's the problem. You're not going to be able to bully out that lane. I wanted to see the Jhin from Utapon, but we see this constant return to the center, and I don't. And I mean, it was reasonably impressive. It was reasonably useful in game one, but in game two, it was utterly worthless.
Yeah, it didn't have quite the same impact though. You saw the concept, even if it played pretty well in lane, but didn't really manage to convert all that much in the mid game. That said, this is comfort really for both sides. Steel and Ebby, definitely big Nidalee and Renekton players. Utapon has put a lot of time into the center. Ziggs and Seros, that is 4-ban, or Ziggs and Kog'Maw, there we go, that's the name of the champion, versus Seros. As well, it'll be Yu-Gi-Oh's Cassiopeia, Darius away from Rayfaki as well. Very specific target bans on both sides, and 4 bans versus Saros is pretty hefty.
Yeah, and I would have thought, okay, the Mordekaiser, DFM looked like they didn't really know how to play into it, even though it's not really the best matchup into Renekton. You might see a very similar story to how it played out in game two. The Azir for Saros coming in.
Finally locked in. It's been a little while since we've seen it. Last time we really saw him pull out was playoffs, where he did an absolute number on people in that particular game. So some backline threat there. Thinking about the Rakan gang, has historically been a fantastic Rakan player. Instead, looking perhaps towards the Leona, which is harder engage. Bit more setup to go with their backline threats.
Yeah, they're looking to give Evie that dive buddy again. And this is what you can do into Azir. You can take an assassin into it. We saw the Kiana ban earlier in the game.
Will be Yu-Gi-Oh's LeBlanc, which was left a little bit to desired, frankly, in game 3. Ended up pretty far down after a number of players went against him. Was landing a few good chains, but could never really stick the Ziggs in place.
Yeah, it wasn't the best performance, but he didn't really have much of a jungle in that game, with once running it down on the Echo, essentially. And at that point, the double assassins fell apart against the relatively hard to get onto Ezreal and Ziggs. But this time you have 2 relatively immobile AD carries, and again, not much peel. You really are just looking at the healing from Senna and the Conqueror's Divide to keep them alive against this LeBlanc. But we will see how that turns out. Again, I think the giving over that comfort to the weak link that is Yuhi and Proud in lane is a mistake. I would have really liked to see you break that open, try and bust open this entire game from the bot side, remove it entirely. Evie can handle Rayfaki in a 1v1, even in a 1v2 if needed. But
yeah, have to see.
We have what we have.
And it's worth pointing out as well, the last time we saw the Senna Leona from Utapon and gang, they were catching Yuhi with a lot of Zenith Blades. And maybe they're just calling out, if we've got enough lockdown, we bring Nidalee down here, bring a teleport from the Azir, maybe we just win out in that 2v2 anyway. Definitely been, so maybe that's the option. That said, we've got a lot of pick potential on the side of Burning Core. Little bit more towards the team fight from DFM, but I feel like both probably do fairly well in a 5v5.
Yeah, in a 5v5, it does come down to, again, who is Rayfarki looking to target with that Mordekaiser ult. Most of these targets you're gonna need are kind of slippery for Mordekaiser. So again, I want to see that proto belt. Unless he decides I'm just gonna take the crocodile into the chamber and beat him up with a mace. In which case, go for the early Leandries is fine. So yeah, you need to know who you're targeting. I'm very interested to see where Rayfarki goes with this. I'm interested to see if Once can actually get a lead in this jungle matchup. He has lost every single early game, I'm pretty sure.
Feels like, yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's been very aggressively invading and not really getting a lot because DFM have been there to counter him pretty well.
Yeah, so the jungle matchup, gonna see if Once can actually get doing what he plans to do. And I just want to see more out of DFM. I want to see them recognize their power spikes, recognize where they're strong and where they need to back off and not overcommit or just not commit at all.
Saw a little bit of that in the last one where they tried so hard to get onto Yuhi and then kind of lost one doing it. And, there was some clutch black shields, some clutch obliterates over walls and the likes to turn things around. But DFM couldn't really do what they wanted to in the mid game of the last one. And it did end up getting turned around on them. This one feels a little bit more return to comfort for them, perhaps. And maybe that will be all the difference that they need.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to look at the bright side. They have returned to something that's very simple. You just group up and fight and team fight. So maybe they don't need to worry about as much the volley bear being caught out. There's no dark bindings to lock him in place forever. They can pretty comfortably just set up the battle lines and play against them and play into a pretty, not as bad as last game, but they still don't have too much engaged. They really only have those ultimates from the bot lane.
Yeah, and then again, we said that the last time out, and Proud found some clutch tempered fates when he was last on that particular champion.
Yes,
so
that is true.
I'm always aware when Proud's on that champion, you can have to be a touch afraid.
You have the grasp of darkness.
Yeah, the Death's Grasp, as well. So you don't have Apprehend, but you've got Death's Grasp, and 3-man Tempered Fate into a Death's Grasp rather than the Darius E would be
it's more or less the same effect, yeah.
Is it E or W? I forget which way around the Apprehend is. One of the two.
E, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure
WC auto reset the cripple.
It is. That's right. Cripples the W. Yes, thank you very much. Moment of forgetfulness. I don't cast Darius all that much unless Rayfarki's on the Rift. And he will not be ever returning to that champion again, I feel like, in playoffs, because he is very good at warping drafts with that champion.
Yeah, it's very hard to take anything into that unless it's Quinn, and even then, that means you're stuck playing Quinn, which is a bit of a
challenge to pull off.
Yeah. All right, we see.
All right.
Hereupon hover around the top for some reason.
Yeah, you can see that. Maybe looking to counter some invade. Perhaps it's I suppose the most interesting choice. I won't call it necessarily something super unusual, but it's the Comet on Azir who's looking for more of the sort of the soldier poke rather than something like the lethal tempo, which is worth pointing out.
Yes, and I think that's completely fair into LeBlanc. LeBlanc is at her strongest in that early to mid game, so you're just trying to match that power, and if you can keep her poked out and weakened in lane, she can't try and go for that levels like the early kill pressure onto you.
The second Twitter vote from 85% certainty into DFM to less than that now. Burning Core proving that maybe they have a bit more bite to them than DFM were comfortable with. Trading in the top side, but little to be found there. Junglers starting on opposite sides. The AI favoring Burning
Burning
Core's
Core.
draft off just picks alone.
I can't say I disagree with the bot in this case. They've got a very strong bot lane. They've got generally considered one of the best junglers in the meta right now. The mid lane is Mordekaiser again was also really high priority for teams, even though I can't say I fully agree with that assessment. But
it's AP, it's bruisery. You can break open team comps by dragging people into death realms, which can sort of warp drafts. So I get some of the context. I also, it's not necessarily the best pick ever, but that ability to change drafts very heavily or force people to play differently can be quite good, I suppose.
Yeah, and I mean, probably most of it is that sort of bot lane. You have two highly meta picks compared to Senna, which is sort of on the edge, and Leona, which is only played by a few players around the globe, feels like. So
DFM setting up for a top dive. I feel like I've seen this before. Ebby gonna look for the stun, finds it, but that's a death scratch, and the teleport now coming in. Rayfaki has got indestructible, and now DFM need to back out. Will summon the teleport, no flash is burned, but Yu-Gi-Oh had to leave mid lane. Fortunately for Burning Core, Once will gratefully receive the mid lane farm.
Yeah, so you force the teleport, which is still a win because it can't be done again, but they timed it really
landing,
badly
and that's the piercing darkness as well. Yuhi has burnt cleanse, but there's so much damage. He has to flash for the healing shrines, and DFM's bot lane prove their analysis a little off there. They find a very hefty engage early on in the game.
And 3-for-1 in terms of summon spells. The ignite gets the heal, the flash, and the cleanse.
Rayfaki.
Able to turn it around pretty well, but the Koldameek and the Doran's Blade should be fine. He'll be able to heal that back up.
Absolutely. He's going to leave the cannon away. Doesn't feel comfortable stepping up. I can sort of see why at this point. And irritatingly for Ebby, is not quite under turret as yet. So trying to work out whether he can back away at some point soon.
Yes. So we see Steel is being quite slow in his jungle pathing. He has fallen pretty far behind.
I think a lot of that's the mid lane farm that Once picked up because it's been even camps plus an extra Krug.
That is fair.
So it's the mid lane farm which has changed it around. But Proud has found a lot of people. He's like, oh dear, I do not want to be. He's got stunned in place, but does manage to get out. But that will be the last. The Shadow's Embrace down coming out. Spear just goes wide, and Burning Core escaped, but that got a little bit scary. Actually, Shadow's Embrace.
Very lucky on that Zenith Blade just missing, because that could have easily been the CC chain to keep that bar down for first blood. So we see Evie not really playing around this Death's Grasp particularly well. You can't dash through that.
I was trying to get out of range, I guess, and just about survives all right. And the wave now pushing back in Ebby's favor gives him a fair enough recall timing. Double cloth armor for the Mordekaiser. No real surprise with the way Rayfaki played it last time. Teleport back in for Ebby, who clearly building towards that phage.
And it seems like there might be a slight experience lead on the side of DFM, as those minions were pushing back into Rayfaki. Now, very early roam from Gang. Can they set up this kill?
Really want to go for this dive before Rayfaki hits 6. Trying very hard to make sure this guy does not get Death Realm before he goes for the dive. Gang is here. They're going for it. Steel's not quite, though. Dominus now popped. Zenith Blade lands. Shield of Daybreak also comes out, and Rayfaki will fall for first blood. And out he goes before the turret can take him out. He'll get to back over. Burning Core and Once, though, will go and take up first Drake at the very least.
Yes, that good response out of Once, and Proud able to just quickly turn that into a Drake. Teleport from Rayfaki wasn't burnt in the last back, so he is able to not really lose that massive wave that was crashed. Fortunately for him, so he's not really hurting too badly. Again, he looks like he's going to go for that Zhonya's early Seekers at the very least, most likely. Again, I hope it's the Bramble Vest.
Quite possible. Yeah,
But
well, we'll see where he goes. It'll be an option either way. But you've heard the analysts call there, like, please give me Bramble Vest, not Zhonya's.
Yeah. But you see this bot lane is going actually very well for Utapon, despite that really early roam from Gang. He's almost completed that Manamune. Kind of upset at his back timing, wasn't able to get that completion. But very happy, very even in CS, despite these roams. But he's gonna get that tower plate. Apparently not.
Not quite. Can't quite get there. You see Utapon, which is being a little wary about stepping up. Didn't want to find himself in too much bother, especially with Yuhi now at level 6. Could throw the Ash Arrow. Don't know where the Graves is, which could have been a bit dangerous for pretty much all involved. It's Steel that gets second blue, interestingly, but it will be DFM roaming over to this Herald. It's on vision, but that means that what is Once and the rest of Burning Core doing? You can see he's in this mid lane bush, but Seros is kind of gonna get out there with a quick shuffle, is what he's gonna do.
Yeah, with the chains missing, easy dash away from Seros. And you can see that he's gone for that early lost chapter, so he doesn't really need the mana, the blue buff at this stage, which means Steel can use it to get this Rift Herald pretty much uncontested. And Utapon and Gang has just not been bot lane at all, it feels like.
No, he's been roaming around, and it's definitely been an option here. You can see that the Leona has, already picked up that early kill onto the Mordekaiser. That's got the Renekton nice and far ahead, up about 15 CS in that lane. It will be, sadly for you, the Seekers from the Mordekaiser. I can hear the sigh of rage.
There's so much healing on DFM's team.
Yeah, between a Senna and a Renekton and Nidalee as well. I kind of agree. But either way, it will be the Zhonyas as the option here, or at least the Seekers early on in DFM. Finally have their bot lane duo back together, and we'll get a shove in the bot side.
Yeah, and we just saw Steel clearing out this pink ward around the red buff, and there were a good couple of red pink wards in that red side jungle on DFM side, which meant they had a lot of confidence around where Steel would be in the game. They didn't expect Gang in that first dive up top, so that probably caught them off guard when they were like, okay, we know where Steel is. Oh, why is Leona here?
Right, Yu-Gi-Oh just hopping forward all the time for these chains. It's been kind of trades back and forth with Yu-Gi-Oh jumping into a soldier there, which I think he probably regretted fairly swiftly. All right. Bard roaming up top. And remember, the last time DFM tried to play around the Herald, Proud just tempered faded the turret, and it got turned around pretty swiftly. If they can get the Herald charge off, though, it's very close to dead with that top lane, especially to get maybe half a plate more.
And DFM has been extremely predictable with their aggression towards that top lane, which means Proud does take that opportunity to roam up with the idea that they're probably going to be up here to drop that Herald. I can be up here, I can deny it, and then go back to my bot lane. They don't see it come up, so he feels a bit like a fool, and waddles his way back down. But he's read it again. He's gone back up to it.
He has, but you can see Once and Proud trying to get here soon. The Magical Journey will make this a 2v3 very swiftly. There is, of course, what appears to be no Death Realm, which means the Burning Core will stop that dive from happening as Yu-Gi-Oh roams bot, just in case the bot lane goes on. But all the while, Yuhi's kind of been left to suffer a lot of pressure onto that bot lane tier 1. Steel finds Once and is going to pounce his way across, throws out the
and this means and this means Senna is able to actually get pretty happily back into it and build up those stacks onto the on the tier, just hitting this turret happily. Gang, I didn't check if they had Demolish. Doesn't look like it. So if they did, could have been a lot more damage. But Oh well.
At this point, Proud's basically trying to find a Tempered Fate to stop the Herald being used, but while he's doing that, like, they're just bleeding plates. Once is around, but won't go aggressively for this red buff. Just feels it's probably a little too risky. Infernal Drake is live, and that is the second Drake of the game. But the gang now looking for a Solar Flare. Misses the Zenith Blade after a well-timed quick draw. Will offer time. Herald still in inventory, surely to be summoned as pressure to buy DFM priority around this Drake.
Yeah, absolutely. Just drop it. You can just drop it mid. Get that pressure. Never mind. They're going top side.
They want first turret. There we go. Herald is spawned. DFM up here, and they know Proud's not around. And they're just saying they don't want to contest these first two Drakes. They just want to try and get as much pressure down onto this turret as they can. And they're saying, well, we're not set up for this. I would rather get more gold up here. Try and look for first turret. They've already got 6 plates, maybe nearly 7 if they can get one onto this mid lane. And actually, Ray Farkey he's got Death Realm, but they've got to be a bit wary of losing this top tier 1 at some point. Once now in a spot of bother, but manages to quick draw away before the shuffle can come through for Seros. And actually now Burning Core around the bot side trying to pressure in onto the bot lane tier 1, but Utapon and gang will return to try and stop that from happening.
We're seeing a lack of decisiveness coming out from the side of DFM. They could have easily pushed up and taken that tower, force rate.
They were afraid of the Death Realm, I guess, at that point, because you're always going to end up in a 1v1 at that point.
Yeah, but you don't try and go for the kill. You just try and sort of force him out of lane with the Nidalee Poke and a bit of chip damage from the Cull the Meek.
I guess with the Seekers and the difficulty, I suppose, of trying to land spears unless Ebby goes very hard under the tower, maybe that's just they decided it was too risky. I kind of agree with you though. Don't get the tower. Plates do fall in Burning Core. Pick up a couple plates at the end, but that's a lot of plate gold for DFM.
Yeah, they still managed to get almost 1,000 gold extra out of their plates. Going even sort of in the bot lane, and with the quick rotation to mid from Yuhi and Proud, they might be giving up first brick in that bot lane over to center.
Or top lane, because you can see the...
or top lane.
Yeah, could just end up being both.
With Yu-Gi-Oh going down there, it's not likely to be bot lane anymore. And they're not pressuring.
Maybe looking to instead contest around this second Herald spawn. Top lane turret, maybe
turret might still go down.
Yeah.
You lose out on the local gold though.
Decide to set up around this Herald instead. Decided that was more worthy, and they still get some gold for it. Burning Core not really in position right now. Proud was back in base. It's got Magical Journey to get here a bit faster. Remember, the Death Realm is here. Yuhi and Yu-Gi-Oh around that bot side. This is always the danger point for DFM. They play second Heralds notoriously poorly.
They need to keep Steel away from Ray.
So that's going to be Seros going in, gets the shuffle onto the Grade, who gets Tempered Fate to buy time, but it surely won't buy anymore, and Seros gets the kill. Now Yu-Gi-Oh at the back of this, trying to get something, but they've got to go. They've got to find something, and actually they won't find it. The stopwatch is good, and they're going to turn it around. Now Steel does get the secure, I believe, and now trying to get out is Ray Farkey. Will fall down to Steel, and it will be another kill as Steel continues to step forward, but probably too deep, trying to get onto Yuhi and gets the double. Will fall out, and now Yu-Gi-Oh trying to escape, but he's stuck in the middle of nowhere. I feel like I've seen this the last time this guy pulled it up. Zenith Blade will surely follow at some point, unless they're going to try and give it over to Utapon. Maybe Gang doesn't have the cooldowns though, and that's a little problematic.
He doesn't have the mana. He doesn't have the mana for the Zenith Blade.
Oh, well, Yu-Gi-Oh escapes this time, but they'll lose tier 1 in mid, and now Ebby going in, gets a stun onto Proud, who does at least get through the Magical Journey, but now Yu-Gi-Oh at the back end of this fight has got a chain, and Ebby survives, has got some healing, but I think he might just fall here. Shuffle out as Seros gets over the wall. Ray Farkey teleported in for that, but won't get it. Now Ebby, trying to escape, is going to be on vision, going to not get the stun. He's got a blast plant. He's going to try it and escape with his life, but he wants, and Yu-Gi-Oh are hunting. Crocodile stayed a little long there, going deep for Proud, and will fall to the LeBlanc.
And Abby is overstepping, staying way too long, but overall, very well fought out of DFM. Ray Farkey commits his ultimate to Utapon, which is not the target you want around an objective, you want to get it onto that jungler, which means the rest of the team of DFM dives straight onto once, blows him up. Now you only have one smite to deal with. Yu-Gi-Oh tries his best on the side, but can't get. But great stopwatch from Udapon. Keeps him down. Then it's a simple cleanup on the side of DFM. Just beautifully done. Beautifully done. And Steel just gets away. Well, he dies for it, but he should not
it's
have gotten
fun.
that
You
kill.
can see what he's going for. And like, honestly, that's the aim, right? Get this Nidalee snowballed in the early game. 2 1-on-1 is definitely that at this point. Burning Core are down 3.5, nearly 4,000 gold. Seros has to be a bit wary in this top side, but it's been pretty safe thus far. They've not really managed to find him despite a number of look-ins. And yeah, you can see the gold lead pretty much across the board, but particularly in that jungle and top lane position right now for DFM, which is kind of a bit of a standard play for this squad. There is second Herald and infantry for Steel, who might use it up here, and Seros wisely backs away from this tier 1. Once is going to come forward, try and get something, gets shuffled back by the Emperor's Divide, and will get out. And while Once is in the top side, DFM will secure third Drake and not allow that to be a win condition as Ebby gets himself that turret in the bot side.
And again, I want to go back to the Mordekaiser item build. I'm not actually going to complain about Bramblevest. I'm going to complain about the proto belt I've talked about. He went onto Udapon, sure. It would have had the same effect if he went on to Seal. He wasn't able to stay on that target. He was just kited out, and he had to sort of back off, and in the end, he just used his ult for nothing. Which meant, with the proto belt, you can dash on top of them and stay on top of the target when they're slippery like that. Yeah. So again, this early Leandries, you have your item built, like every day on the VCS cast,
is a big
Mordekaiser main. Mm-hmm. He says this every time. Your item build is you have to pick who your target is and build for that. Currently, he is building to smack Evie in the face, and he ulted Utapon.
Yes,
so
didn't work.
This does not work.
Like. No, and you can see that Utapon has again gone towards the Black Cleaver. It's like, I just want to survive people diving at me. Probably again, he's got a Renekton that will also be stacking up the Black Cleaver, but. I know there are some questions about Black Cleaver's efficacy as an item, depending on who you talk to. But once again, Seros is about to get attacked in this top side, maybe a little too deep. He's going to get jumped on. Has done a lot of damage, though. Does get the shuffle back. Arrow misses. Teleport now coming out. Has got the turret going up once. Very, very deep. And Yu-Gi-Oh gets shot down. And actually, Utapon comes in to survive. And Seros with the clutch 1v2. And now Ebby will look to secure the Outlaw. It's Seros that gets it anyway, and that feels right. He earns it. He's got the mid laner and the jungler dead, and DFM are thinking, well, it's 20 minutes. We have a Renekton. We have a Senna. Let us do Baron and Burning Core. You're in a 3v5, and you better damn well hope you can stop us.
And with Azir, they basically have that second AD carry to make up for that lack of damage Senna provides to the objective.
Just turning it around. Ray Farky goes into the death realm. He's on top of Gang. He's going to probably get this one, actually. Goes golden, but then the death realm about to end. Flash out. Now Yu-Gi-Oh in the backline is going to get chunked out. Can the DFM secure the Baron? That's the real question right now. They do. They need to get out now. That's a huge shuffle, and Seros once again on the Azir, finding everything. It's a double, though, for Yu-Gi-Oh somewhere at the back end of this fight. Utapon go very deep, and Ray Farky now trying to get out, but Seros is here, shoving people down with the soldiers. The spear just wide, but it doesn't matter because the tower does the work. They get out with 3, and they will claim 2 in return as well. Steel needs to escape now as well. He's getting chased down by this LeBlanc. Credit to Yu-Gi-Oh for making sure it wasn't absolutely for nothing, but now DFM have Baron and a 7,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and massive turnaround for DFM. Seros, of course, coming up massive with that 2v1 outplay. And Udapon's ultimate kept him just on a sliver of health. Teleports back in for that Baron. You can see they're actually able to burn it down. Ray Farky just survives by getting onto Gang, which turns out to be an okay choice. He doesn't get the kill immediately, and it's just, and they're able to secure it. But the fight from there isn't actually too bad for Burning Core until this massive thing. Yu-Gi-Oh on the backside is able to sort of, even it out a bit. And yeah, Unipon stepped quite a bit far forward. I don't know.
I can see the
I
hunt
understand
there.
the bloodlust.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you get the bloodlust in your eyes, and you're just like, yeah, it's just one order. But blood tunnels are always a trap, my guy. Don't do them.
The magical journey is only magical if you're on the right team. Turns out it's magical in the sense that Voldemort is also magical. You didn't want that. So, Mountain Drake spawning in about 50 seconds. DFM not got a lot out of this Baron buff as yet, as Burning Core did manage to push down in the mid lane, but you can see Seros up in a side lane once again, proving side lane Azir is a thing, and everyone else needs to be afraid of him.
Yeah, and at this point, who can really match Seros 1v1?
Oh, probably they missed the Tempered Fate. Utapon gets out with, I believe, a Mikhail's. Ebby is in the death realm, but I'm not sure Rayfarki's going to get as much from that as he would like. Gets himself an Indestructible and an Obliterate, and will get the kill, but Steel turns around with a spear, and Seros wasn't even there. That was 4 versus 5. He gets that tower, and now Burning Core need to back up. They're going to lose their whole base. You can see Burning Core trying to hunt around. They want to at least get to Mountain Soul Point to be a threat. Yu-Gi-Oh hopping forwards takes a lot of damage from this Senna, though. That one stung, and now DFM going to start up the Mountain Drake with the advantages that they've gained. Look where Gang is. He just wants to make sure that you once can get nowhere near this dragon. He's got a collateral damage and a prayer. He won't even make it.
Yeah, and
it's 9-5. It's 7 kills. It's 7 kills up, and yeah, continue, man.
And steal this game, actually landing spears this time, and they do hurt when they land. He's able to get that final tick onto Rayfarki, who managed to bait Heavy a little too deep into his own team in that death realm. But so overall, it was a 1-for-1. But the dragon and the top lane and the bot lane inhibitor turret, goes over to DFM, and they look like they are in control on this blue side.
They really are, and the fact that was 4 versus 5 tells me a lot about where this game is right now. That said, we have seen DFM throw some games. We can see they're going to try and maybe catch out Steel here. He's gone pretty deep, but they decide against it, and Steel's actually got a 2-level advantage here. Could be a bit scary for Burning Core. They've only managed to get the 2 turrets in this game, mid outer and top outer. That's it thus far, and I have got to ask, there is a LeBlanc at 4 kills. Is that a win condition? Is that a way back into this game? Because Burning Core have got to find something, because they're bleeding out a lot right now.
So yeah, LeBlanc can always do disgusting LeBlanc type things where she just comes over a wall and deletes a carry on the side of DFM, especially when she's pretty far ahead. Now, Utapon, now this might be a bit more difficult, because again, it's going to be Mountain Soul. That means they have double Mountain Drake, and that means this
QSS Graves as well. Oh no!
It means this one QSS purchase and these Merc treads are already doing a lot to deny the.
All right, Seros is going to find a shuffle, but Seros goes super low. Does get shut down, went super deep. That's a decent Tempered Fate, but now we will at least get traded around onto Proud. It's a 1-for-1, but that was a lot of the gold lead. Is it happening again? It's the real question. Nidalee is not quite here, but it's actually pretty low. Yu-Gi-Oh is there, hops around, going to try and find the way onto Gang, but a good flash keeps him safe. DFM now in a turret, but that's a dude's last embrace to buy time, and the Solar Flare turnaround. Ebby is here, and he is big. That spear clutches a clone. Nothing else. Now Utapon stepping forward with the Curse of the Black Mist. 1-for-1, but well played by Burning Core to catch DFM a little off guard there.
And so even though Seros just basically gifts over a shutdown, it's still 1-for-1. So yes, that shutdown gold goes over to Burning Core, and it is a win for them in overall in gold. It's not going to be that much in terms of map pressure. So DFM isn't too bothered. They can still set up comfortably for this Baron. They can still try
early in the game. Seros is straight back up, right? Like, it's not like this is 30 minutes into the game where your main Azir is, dead for 30 minutes or 30 seconds. 30 minutes might be a bit extreme.
Well, we'll think about that when we get to the 90-minute games.
I'm ready, man. Are you? My voice
No.
is so ready to go.
So yeah, DFM can comfortably get to this Baron, set up for it. But they probably do need to just actually put a bit more focus into this. Actually, no, they don't. Burning Core isn't on point.
No, they're not.
I'm
No, they're not,
wrong.
because DFM secured that one. So
Yes.
they gave up the first two, have picked up the last two, and I suspect their next port of call will either be the Baron or that Mountain Drake.
They don't have to worry too much about trading that Drake for this time. And even if Burning Core somehow manages to sneak out a Mountain Drake, a Mountain Soul, it's not the end of the world for DFM. They are not really a burst heavy comp. They have that sustained damage to push through it.
Mm-hmm.
They have the double Black Cleaver to shred that armor. So it's all good. But we will see how. So it's not the end of the world if they end up giving it up. And just, if you can, just maybe look to trade Mountain for Baron, and you can use that to get that final siege going. Or you can just try and look for a pick, which is what Gang is doing.
Yeah, he is. He's just holding around 20 seconds until this Mountain Drake, and DFM are just trying to force Burning Core back, force them out of vision. Ebby slices away from the chains. And DFM now going to retreat back towards this Mountain Drake. They will take it pretty damn fast with the Azir, Renekton, Nidalee. Burning Core might come and contest, but they're going to be a little late. They're not going to be here in time. It's going to be taken out. Mountain Soul point secured for DFM. Burning Core, though, might look to try and gain some control around Baron. If Gang won't find an engage, he's certainly looking.
He's certainly looking for it. And he steps quite far forward, and maybe the Santa's Blade does not reach.
Yeah, it didn't reach. All right, once now in a spot of bother, Yuhi gets some slows. The Solar Flare is instantly cleansed, but still very, very low. Ebby in the backline. That's another triple Tempered Fate. That might be everything they need, but the Railgun buys time. Seros goes stopwatch, once very low. What Gang going back in, and Seros survived. He is so damn low. It's a 1-for-1. And in the backline, Burning Core have found a fight. Now Utapon is still trying to turn it around, find some damage. He's got a lot of damage, and double for Ray Farkey. 3-for-1, but remember the jungler is dead and Steel is alive.
And Proud does it again. He does it again. Massive bottle.
So good. So many low health bars.
And they might still go for it. Steel is up, but
he's very low. He's got no mana.
For the teleport.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
No mana.
Is over the wall. He's going to go in.
Just looking for him.
Over the wall is Steel. He gets Unifon, and that will be Baron over to Burning Core.
This could turn the game around. They have the Baron now. There's still a lot of standing gold on the map. There's only 3k gold difference with this Baron. It's only gonna shrink to 1. That's only 1 tower. They can get so much.
That was incredible out of Proud. He just finds everything there. And maybe a little bit of an overreach for Steel. He's going to be here in the jungle. He's going to find Once. I don't know who's going to win this. It's actually the level advantage for Steel.
Once
he's pretty damn low. Yeah, he's got to get out of here, but Gang's around. The collateral damage won't work. He's got the heal, and that will be the end of that.
So DFM is not really in that much of a problem. Doesn't have to worry too much. If they can weather this Baron and not fall too far behind, they can just play for that Mountain Soul and get back into it.
Oh,
massive ultimate from Proud, and the follow-up is great. The Utapon does a lot of work to keep Seros alive, but Evie completely zoned out by Yu-Gi-Oh! On the side, and Proud as well. He tries to get back into it, but it does not happen. Proud, that flash double bind.
He's so damn good, man. And Ray Farkey keeping the front line out as well. It's definitely brought Burning Core back into this game. Whether it will be enough is another question. They've got to try and invade as much as they can out of this Baron buff. You can see Burning Core now have the win percentage after DFM was stratospherically ahead in that Blitzcrank bot. Pressure, and you can see Once is actually the one who gets the split push on the side, and Steel taken nearly out. Flash away from the arrow, won't quite get the kill. Steel survives, but that Nidalee really, really squishy and has to back away. They'll get the bot tier 2 as a result.
And Yu-Gi-Oh! Stepping up after a pretty mediocre series so far. He has got this team ready
has
to go.
to flash out, but now Gang is going in. They're on to Ray Farki, but that was a guy who can death roll. But it's not enough. He's gone golden. He's got to try and survive. The tower goes up. It's going to be Gang who goes down. But wait, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is doing so much work. Seros, it does get a kill onto Proud, but now Yu-Gi-Oh! Has to try and find his way out solo. It's Yuhi as well who's trying to survive, and he will get one. It's 2 for 1 in the end, but now the Baron push is stopped. And that is a minute and a half before Mountain Soul would be available for DFM, so they won't get any more. That got damn close for Burning Core.
That got damn close on both sides. Both sides having members that sort of sneaked out on very low health. Gang and Evie do go down for just Ray Farki, I believe.
It was Proud. Ray Farki was just about to survive with the Zonyas that just about bought him time.
It was Proud. Okay, so it was still a net win for Burning Core, but this is so close. They almost blow up Ray Farki. Massive vault eventually coming out from Proud.
Another
keeping that damage there. But here it gets a bit dicey. Steel is on the lookout for Yu-Gi-Oh! And just shuts him down. Well, doesn't actually get the kill, but forces him back. So they aren't able to get that big LeBlanc damage on the back end of it. So huge shout out to Steel for stopping that, but also Proud coming up huge.
This guy is a
lock out
monster
the Azir
on
damage.
The bars. He is so damn strong. 15 seconds to Mountain Drake, but Burning Core, for the first time, have got themselves good priority around this Mountain Drake or in this Dragon Pit for a very long time. DFM, pretty afraid to walk up. They're going to teleport in. Might be another fight. Utapon is here. Ebby looking to get in. He is not going to be death thrown, but the slows coming out the center. The solar flare buys a lot of time, and this Mordekaiser taken nearly out. Will survive for now, but he's actually into the death row, and that means the Emperor Survive doesn't get anything. It's finally a shutdown, and actually the Graves falls as well. It's 2 for none right now, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't find anything. Seros in the backline trying to fight out against you. He will not win. And now Yu-Gi-Oh! Into the backside trying to find something over the wall. It doesn't work out. It is 2 for 2, and now Yuhi onto the dragon is healing back up, but Steel is alive, once is not. This would be a Mountain Soul for Steel if he can survive the chains miss. He needs to get in. It's too late. It's too late. He gets it. That's Mountain Soul point now for Burning Core, and they've got the health bar advantage. Yu-Gi-Oh! Goes in and survives. Shutdown on 2. The Nidalee, they get 2. They've got respawns before DFM. They can think about going over towards this Baron, but it's not up for a minute and a half, so screw that. They'll take the Drake, and they'll take that clutch outplay.
And with that, I don't even know if they're back in the lead yet. Yes, they are. I'm going mad. But Heavy, they try so hard. They commit everything to Ray Farki, and he survives for so long. Then Yu-Gi-Oh! And Proud, the massive ultimate onto Utapon and Steel into instant burst out of once, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Just absolutely massive. And then Seros goes so hard for you. He can't find the kill, and then they have to go, and they really want it, but what happens here? Double stun from Proud. That just absolute massive outplay. This Bard hard carrying this game. He gets another one.
He is so
this man is so
good. All right, well, this game is neck and neck. It was looking like it was DFM's game by a mile. It ain't anymore. This Ashe, this LeBlanc, hell, this Bard are utter terrors right now. You can see the damage out of a number of people. Look at LeBlanc. Look at Ashe. That is impressive stuff.
And they've had to work double time into triple Mountain Drakes. So they have... You can just imagine how much damage this could have been if it wasn't for these extra
Gang's going
stats.
in. They find a Solar Flare. It's onto Ray Farki. That's not the best, but then the Zonyas comes out. Collateral damage comes out. And Seros got Tempered Fated, but it didn't really buy all that much for Burning Core. Ult for ult from the support.
This could be massive.
It could
this
be
could be massive without the Tempered Fate to turn it around.
Yeah, remember that bot lane inhibitor still exposed for Burning Core. Now Yu-Gi-Oh! Is on vision, and the Sun turret comes up. Baron is live, and DFM got priority in mid lane, at least for the moment. Sun Disc now falls, and Shurima descends for the moment. They're going to wander over into this Baron pit. This is potentially the moment that decides the game one way or another. Yu-Gi-Oh, you have got to find something. Proud, Tempered Fate is down. He's found so many clutch picks, so many amazing ultimates. Now, though, it's coming down to one final fight, you feel, 37 minutes into the game. Both teams walking a knife's edge.
If they can find and engage onto anyone that isn't Mordekaiser, they probably have this in the bag, but so far Ray Farkey has just been the subject of so much of the CC on the side of DFM. The ultimates from the sports are back up as we move on to the sort of Baron bait.
Speed trying for DFM. They're looking to find something. Solar Flare also is there. It's onto Ray Farkey. They're going in on this guy again. They take him low, but is it going to be enough? He's into the Death Realm again. Ebby's in there with him. DFM trying to buy time. This Renekton is so low. Trying to get it and will get the Renekton, will survive. But now Yu-Gi-Oh at the back end of it. The Railgun comes out, buys time. Proud won't find anything, and it's a 1 for none in favor of DFM until Steel has to go golden. Went super deep. This Nidalee is in danger, but survives, and Yu-Gi-Oh is still a threat. The Piercing Darkness is offering salve to the wounds that DFM have suffered, and they're going to move back over to this Baron, but the damage is still there for Burning Core, even if the front line isn't.
They have to walk into DFM, though, and DFM has a ward on that side, so they will be able to spot Yu-Gi-Oh.
Gonna find the Solar Flare. Not the Solar Flare. They're gonna try and get in. Yu-Gi-Oh in the backline gets something, but it's not enough. And that is 2. That is Yuhi trying to run away, trying to survive. Shut down onto the Bard of all people. They've got to try and get out. Maybe they can think about teleporting in, but actually they're not. They've got to try and take out the waves. They've got time. They've got 40 seconds on 2 members. They can reset and look back to the Baron, maybe. Or maybe the Mountain Drake as well. It would be Mountain Soul in 35 seconds as well.
Yeah,
it's a win for DFM, but they don't get a buff.
35 seconds on Mountain, 30 seconds as well on the same timer on the Jungler for Burning Core. If DFM can get there first, they will have a 4v3 around this objective and be able with a smite. So they should have the advantage in terms of securing it, but they're taking their time. They're moving into it now. They're going for mid control. I think you can just sort of give up mid-control a little bit and rush it. Just rush it.
They've got magical journeys. They're going to maybe Tempered Fate, remember. That's another option to buy time to get people in. We're going to see where Thingo is going down really, really fast this late in the game with Azir. It's secured. Mountain Soul is there. DFM now back with an advantage. That's one that will last. The Solar Flare lands onto Ray Farkey once more. He goes golden, and that Zhonya's buys time, and he takes a lot of damage. Ebby gets dragged back, but the soldiers do massive work onto this Mordekaiser, who's just not tanky anymore. Collateral damage comes out to clear the waves, just to try and buy some time, but nothing else. Now, Burning Core are in a horrifying position, realizing they're against a Mountain Soul with people who really don't want to deal with extra resists, and DFM put up the Sun Disc, buy mid-control, move over to Baron, and once you better be ready to steal.
And now you can just bait this. You don't have to try and take it down. If Evie is just taking the damage, they don't ever have to worry about it. They can just keep tanking Baron forever. He will not take much damage. You have the healing from Senna. You can bait this Baron forever if you need to.
That's the plan. They've got the Mountain Soul shields. They've got all that additional tankiness. Yu-Gi-Oh hopping in. Get some damage onto Ebby, but not a lot. Gang, in the front line. DFM need one good engage. Burning Core need one good turnaround, you feel. Edge to DFM with the Mountain Soul. Edge to DFM with Azir late game, but you can never write off Burning Core. They've played these late games so well, and DFM have done anything but in a couple of games this series. It's 200 gold, the lead for DFM, and they're actually looking to reset because Xeros would love to pick up a couple items with all the gold he's got.
And this might be the window for Burning Core. They can rush it. They don't have the best burst on the Baron in the game. Mordekaiser will contribute quite a bit, but they do have that LeBlanc sort of crippling their Baron damage. Now, but they're going to stagger their backs, make sure they don't give up too much pressure. So Saros is able to get his items. He's now just missing one item. Pick up just a Void Staff away from completion.
All right.
It's on a knife's edge. Massive advantage to DFM with that Mountain Soul, though.
That's death cap on Nidalee. Death cap on Azir. And it's Once who's gone for a lethality build versus the Mountain Soul. 4 Mountain Dragon Mountain Soul as well, which is making him very impotent in a lot of these fights, in a way he hasn't been on this Graves list late into the game before.
Nidalee has almost 200 armor and only a Seekers to give it to her.
That's pretty absurd.
Mental.
All right, well, we've got to keep our eyes on this Baron. It will disappear in the face of this Azir this late into the game, but Burning Core and Proud have managed to turn around worse situations before. They were down 7,000 gold. They're now down 500. They have lost themselves the Mountain Soul, but it's not out of reach yet. Burning Core, your playoff dreams are on the line. You have got 2 rookies who have performed above and beyond expectations. And Yu-Gi-Oh is looking to make a massive play, but he gets solar flared. He's getting stunned up. This could be it. He does not survive. Shut down by Azir. And now Rayfaki as the railgun comes shooting across the backline. Ebby is going to survive for now. Rayfaki dashes out, but will find himself on the end of his Zenith Break. Again goes too deep. It's not enough though. Castile gets the kill. They're down 2 members. They're down 2 damaging members into DFM. Even damn well need a Baron with this. They've got all of the damage available. They need a wave. They need something. And maybe they just return to Baron.
It's just gang. You've got 4 members up. You have that Mountain Soul. You have Senna healing. You can just force them to come back to Baron. Try and catch out once when he goes for that steal. If he even gets there on time, he absolutely will.
Really
it's
swift.
Not quite that fast.
But thinking about going over the wall.
Just keeping track. They have great vision. They know exactly where he is.
All right, Utapon just providing time. Slow from Azir will mean this Baron goes over uncontested. The arrow goes wide. It was a desperate attempt. And now
arrow.
With Mountain Soul, with Baron at 44 minutes, DFM, if you don't close it out now, then you deserve to lose. It's been your worst split ever. These late games in the 2 losses were poor. This game you nearly threw, but we got a replay. And maybe this will cinch it for them.
And we see Yu-Gi-Oh! He goes in, he tries to make the play, but Evie immediately on top of him with the Ruthless Predator. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been such a thorn in the side of DFM this entire time. Him being caught out immediately means they are not able to get those same team fights they were before. The Tempered Fate also kind of going wide from Proud. Not his best in this game. And it is those key aspects that has kept Burning Core in the game faltering means DFM just gets so much out of this fight.
They get on to the LeBlanc, who's in so much trouble, has got out, but takes most of the health bar in trade, and that will mean that DFM have free recourse to go under the tower. The Solar Flare is only a slow. That's a couple ultimates burn for DFM. Maybe Burning Core see an opportunity.
DFM learning from game 3 and not letting Burning Core close to that Elder Drake. They've got full control over the mid lane. The tower should fall shortly with that buffed up cannon minion if it actually attacks the turret.
Wow, doing a fantastic job just buying the aggro. Maybe getting dragged back. Yu-Gi-Oh! Out of vision, but the tower now falls and DFM continue to shove in. Zenith Blade was dodged. But now the Sun Disc spawns for DFM, who are looking to make the most of this Baron buff. They know the Elder Dragon has spawned. Do they go for that instead? Yu-Gi-Oh! Hasn't gone for Banshees, though. It means jumping in is ever a risk. As Gang decides he's going in. That's very deep, but will survive for now.
And, he lands the Zenith Blade. He didn't want to. But now they can just keep Burning Core at bay. They don't need to keep this many people up. With that Sundisk and Heavy in the mid lane, they can keep Burning Core split, and they've set up a trap.
Proud, he's going to get caught. He's going to get deleted. Steel claims that one, and now Once is going to take a Solar Flare to the face, and it's not Sunburn, it's Disaster. And Leona, Gang, finds another pick. It is a 3 versus 5 with Elder Dragon on the table, and Burning Core. There's only so many smoke and mirrors you can find, and it's just not enough. It's the Elder Dragon to their name, and now they shove in.
And with that Elder Drake, they can just go hard down the mid lane. They do not need to worry at all. If Gang lands a single Zenith Blade, that is almost instant death for whoever it lands on with the follow-up from Detonation FocusMe. They have got this in the bag. They just need to seal it out. They have
And you can't
pretty much
help.
everything under their wing.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't find a lot. That Mountain Drake just buying too much time, and DFM shoving in still time on Proud. He'll come up. There will be a Tempered Fate. That stops the recall. That means there's time. First Nexus turret fall. Proud, what have you got? You've got to buy time. You've got to buy something. The Tempered Fate catches 2, but it's not on the Nexus turret, and Gang goes in. The Elder Dragon is on, remember. Rayfaki goes golden, but that is an execution onto Yu-Gi-Oh! It's onto the Mordekaiser as well. DFM is so low, but they will move on. Your Spring Split champions will not fall. Burning Core put more of a fight than anybody gave them credit for. It shouldn't have been that close. It should never have come down to an Elder Dragon at 45 minutes. But Detonation FocusMe win it. But by God, to Burning Core make them work for it.
Burning Core showing up massive. Even though you lost today, you can go home happy. You would not expected to come anywhere close to this. 3-2, so close, massive showings out of Proud, out of Yu-Gi-Oh! This team can walk away proud, even though they lost. They'll be upset because it was just so close.
It was, but we do have to take 20 seconds, a moment.
I think
to
honestly,
catch our
we
breath,
should just
collate our
sign
thoughts, and bring this series
we
together.
should just sign it off now.
This.
I think that given that it's so emotionally charged, just coming off of that game 5, it's so hard to just take a step back. This was a 5 games I don't think any of us expected.
No, and
Absolutely
heartbreak for Burning Core. They tried so damn hard, and Proud. That man on Bard has opened my eyes to what that champion can do in so ways, and credit to Steel for his play on the Nidalee, on the Volley Bear, but all the same, what an exciting series. It wasn't always clean. It was certainly something. But I guess from us here...
Certainly entertaining.
Vinny, some last thoughts, my friend, and then we'll probably sign off and let the viewers take a moment to collect themselves.
Detonation FocusMe, they came in on the blue side. They actually played a really nice, clean control game, but their red side was really something else. And I'm interested to see, can CGA punish it? Can CGA drag them into the scrappy style we know them for? And I'm interested. I'm very keen to see how that turns out next weekend.
Should be. It's going to be a beautiful bloodbath for sure. But from myself, from Nymera, who's put in an absolute marathon
I have been awake for 11 hours working on this.
4 a.m. start, man. To Mass Swan and his technical difficulties. And of course, to Vinny, who's come all the way over from the VCS English cast. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
And Stanley Greyhart
Thank you for the games.
Yeah, thanks, that guy.
Go find yourself a stiff drink. Take that in your stride. And we'll see you next week for some more of this insane action here in the LJL.